Get ready, because Beth Rigby has just unleashed a scathing analysis of Labour's newest budget, and it's turning the political world upside down. Sky News political editor claims this budget is the biggest tax and spend policy she's covered in her career, and it's left voters stunned by the dramatic shift in Labour's economic approach. In her breakdown, Rigby exposes Labour's £41 billion tax bombshell under Rachel Reeves, which is setting the stage for a national debate about trust, transparency and economic risk. Did Labour ever truly level with the British public about its plans? Rigby doesn't think so, and she's not holding back.
Beth, this was a big moment.
I think this was the moment where we saw the real Labour government and compare and contrast a Labour government that was painfully cautious in the run-up to this election, talking about really quite menial tax rises and spending commitments compared with today, and a government in victory that is bold and confident about the decisions they are making. And to put it into context, this budget, in terms of tax and spend, is £74 billion in spending by the end of this Parliament, £41 billion in tax rises. I have done a number of budgets, and this scorecard, in terms, I have never seen anything like it, and I've done this for 15 years. It's the biggest budget I have ever covered. It is incredibly definitive in terms of a kind of very Labour budget of big tax and big spend.
In this no-holds-barred review, Rigby picks apart the unexpected decisions Labour has made with this budget. She points out that Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves campaigned on a promise of fiscal responsibility and a cautious approach, yet just months into their government, they've unveiled a staggering tax hike with implications for every corner of British society. From small businesses and major corporations to ordinary working Brits, the impact will be far-reaching. Rigby's message? This budget is a major shift, and it's far from the cautious platform Labour ran on. Beth Rigby doesn't just deliver the numbers. She explains why this £41 billion tax increase is such a seismic move. Rachel Reeves's budget is set to raise a massive £25 billion from employers alone, targeting national insurance contributions. According to Rigby, this could have a ripple effect on wages, hiring and overall economic growth. By taxing businesses at this level, Labour is putting tremendous pressure on the backbone of the UK's economy. Rigby's review suggests that Reeves and Starmer may be taking an unprecedented gamble, banking on high taxes to fund ambitious spending without fully considering the potential fallout. But that's not all. Another £5 billion will come from taxing the wealthy through changes to inheritance tax and capital gains, a move that Rigby believes might sound good on paper but could discourage investment and impact families in the long term. She argues that while Labour is pushing for bold reforms, they risk hurting the very people they claim to support. In her words, this budget could have the unintended consequence of stalling economic recovery just as we start to see signs of progress. Rigby's review questions the honesty of Labour's election campaign, during which Keir Starmer famously promised no major tax hikes. But here we are, with billions in new taxes and record-breaking spending. Rigby sees this as a huge shift and calls out Labour for keeping voters in the dark about the scale of their economic plans. She claims that this budget reveals the true colours of Labour, a party willing to go all in on high taxes and public spending, even if it means straying from their cautious campaign platform. According to Rigby, the Labour government's budget isn't just a fiscal plan, it's a statement of ideology. By focusing on massive spending increases and tax hikes, Labour is showing its commitment to a vision of big government. Rigby points out that Labour's spending by the end of this Parliament will hit £74 billion, a number she says Britain hasn't seen in years. With new taxes funding this ambitious plan, Rigby questions whether Labour was ever really transparent about its goals. Was this Labour's plan all along, or is this a sudden shift to suit their new majority? Rigby suggests the public deserves to know the truth. Beth Rigby isn't the only one raising red flags. Economic experts from the Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS, and the Resolution Foundation have sounded alarms about the potential risks of Labour's tax-heavy approach. Paul Johnson, director of the IFS, warned that Labour's budget could create an unsustainable financial model, with new spending targets that may not hold up in the long term. Johnson pointed out that even though Labour has boosted funding for critical areas like the NHS and schools, it might come at the expense of future fiscal stability. One of the most pressing concerns raised by analysts is inflation. Economists predict that Reeves's budget could lead to higher inflation for years, with projections suggesting it could stay above the Bank of England's 2% target until at least 2029. What does this mean for the average Brit? Higher costs for everyday items, increased mortgage rates, and the potential for reduced purchasing power. Rigby's analysis suggests that Labour's decision to prioritise spending could backfire if inflation remains elevated and the cost of living continues to rise. The public response to Rigby's review has been intense, with many voters expressing frustration and feeling blindsided by what they see as Labour's hidden agenda. Social media is buzzing with reactions as people question whether Labour truly respected the mandate they were given. For many, this budget feels like a betrayal of the moderate platform Labour campaigned on. Rigby's view is clear. This budget represents a radical shift that could leave the average British taxpayer with higher bills, fewer savings, and a diminished quality of life. Rigby argues that Labour's approach could end up alienating voters who expected a more cautious, moderate government. In her words, this isn't what people thought they were signing up for. Rigby's analysis resonates with Brits who feel Labour's sudden embrace of high taxes and big spending is a departure from the promises they made on the campaign trail. Beth Rigby ends her analysis on a sobering note, warning that Labour's approach could fundamentally alter the British economy in ways we're only beginning to understand. She describes the new budget as a gamble that will either pay off as a transformative success or backfire, causing a crisis that future governments will struggle to recover from. With new taxes on employers and the wealthy, Rigby questions whether Labour's budget is designed to lift the country up, or if it risks pushing the UK down a path of economic stagnation. As the debate over Labour's budget continues, Rigby's scathing review has opened up new questions about the future of British politics. Will Labour's high-stakes approach end up being a winning bet, or will the economic consequences come back to haunt them? One thing is certain. This story is far from over, and we're bringing you every twist, every shocking moment, and every scandalous reveal. If you want more updates on this budget fallout and every new twist in UK politics, hit subscribe, give us a like, and stay tuned, because we're bringing you every scandalous moment as it happens. Biggest tax raid in years. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. See you next time.